What is going on YouTube? This is Sunny of Team Lethal Strike, and this past weekend, or whenever this video does get released, I did place within the top 256 of Atlanta Regionals. I played Gholdengo for that weekend, and I ended up with a final record of 6-3-4, ranking 237th place on the day. You can see my list right up there if you're interested in that, and I'm just here to give a very quick tournament report for all of you. So why don't we get into that? Round 1, I get paired against Terrapagos. Game 1, they managed to keep a cornerstone out for pretty much the entire game. I did my best to fight through it through my usual means, but they just kept taking too many prizes, and I was just behind right off the rip. Game 2, I did have a much better go-around on that game. They were still sequencing well in the prize trade, but I did manage to Iono them down to 2. Unfortunately, they were able to still find all the cards they needed via Professor's research, which also did involve a counter catcher play because I was at 1 prize error at 2 and managed to counter catcher for the win. So unfortunately, we did lose the first round there. Round 2, we get paired against the mirror match. We have a Gholdengo mirror match for round 2. Game 1, they did have the better prize trade overall. There might have been a small chance for me to win that game. Very, very slim if I found Iono. Unfortunately, we did have a double prize penalty situation between myself and my opponent. It turns out my opponent, during their last attack, they forgot to attach an energy onto the attacking Pokemon, took prizes. Going into my turn, I did a couple coin bonuses to sort of see cards, if you will, and advance the board pretty much too far ahead on that one, which did cause the double prize penalty for both my opponent and myself. But to be honest, even without that, I think he might have won anyway, just based on the prize exchange. Game 2, I had the better prize sequencing on that one. Game 3 didn't even finish at all, and I ended up tying, so we're starting out 0-1-1. Round 3, I get paired against a very cool deck. Some of you might know it. It's the Slowking deck. The one that you discard the top card of your deck, use whatever attack you want on the Pokemon that you discarded. Pretty cool deck overall. Game 1, they had a very awkward bench to where they were only able to get like 1 Slowking out at a time, and I managed to take advantage of that to take Game 1. Game 2, they had the pretty much the best setup you could have for the deck, and a few Trifrosts did me in there. And then Game 3, they pretty much drew dead for the entire game, which I managed to take advantage of, and was able to win the series there. Put me at 1-1-1. Round 4, we played against Terrabox. Game 1, I completely dead drew. Nothing to really say there. Game 2, my baby Dango managed to handle the cornerstone completely, and I also did have a solid prize map going throughout the entire game on that. And Game 3, it came down to time, and Game 3, Turn 3, I managed to get the cards I needed to win the game there. I just needed my superior energy retrieval and boss's orders. I managed to get both of those to bring up something to KO that for the game. They tried to play for the tie, basically, by having their Pikachu EX out in front. But I did gust around that, and I managed to take the game there. Which, obviously, at that point, winning's better than tying. We take that for sure. Round 5, we get paired against Gardevoir. Game 1, my opponent only managed to get 1 Gardevoir out for the entire game, and I just handled that no problem. Game 2, I got pretty much rolled. That game was kind of a blur to me. So Game 3, I actually did have the chance to win that one, but unfortunately, they ended up confusing my attacker with Munkidori. They used Mind Bend. I was confused, and it came down to a coin flip. I was turn 1 of time, by the way. This time was called. And during turn 1, which I was, all I needed to do was just flip heads, and I was going to be able to take whatever prizes I needed to end the game, which would have been on turn 3. But I did flip tails on the flip. My attack failed, and we ended up tying on that one. Round 6, we go against another Gardevoir, so we're back-to-back on Gardevoirs. Game 1, Munkidori put in a lot of work for me. I was able to establish my Munkidori and it managed to help me in situations where I needed it the most. I pretty much had that going on there. Game 2, I pretty much just rolled my opponent completely on that one. It was not even close, so we did sweep the series on that one. Round 7, I go up against another Terrapagos deck. Game 1 took a long time. It was insane, but with a little combination of the Baby Dengo and Vengeful Punch, those were helpful factors in me winning that game. Game 2 didn't even finish. Again, Game 1 did take forever. Game 2 didn't finish at all. My opponent was actually in a pretty solid position that game, but thankfully Game 1 did actually take a lot of time, so I managed to win on time for that one, thankfully. Round 8, I get paired against a Raging Bolt. Game 1, I managed to get 3 KOs on EXs. I managed to knock out 3 EXs for my prize trade. They tried to attack primarily with single prizers on that one, try to make me work for my prizes. But thankfully, I managed to find the gusting effects that I needed to take out the EXs there. Game 2, my opponent did a whole lot of misplaying that game. It was kind of crazy on top of some dead drawing. And Dunsparce EX got in there like ferociously, given the fact that they had a lot of EXs on board, so I managed to establish the Dunsparce and just took knockout after knockout with that. So we did win round 8 there. My record at this point is 5-1-2, so we are in the winning end going into the final round of day 1, I should say, which we are getting paired against another Terrapagos deck. Game 1, my opponent was actually playing Giant Cape as their A spec, making their Terrapagos 330 HP. I still managed to knock it out, even with the Cape and even with Bouffalant. And that game was kind of funny because my opponent, I think they tried to plead their case that Terrapagos had 390 HP just based on the fact that Bouffalant was on the field, which I had to clarify that no, Terrapagos doesn't, not Terrapagos, Bouffalant doesn't add HP. All it is just reducing damage. That doesn't mean you get more HP in theory. It just means you're just reducing damage, which I did my math, and I did do the necessary damage to knock that out. They understood that, which, I mean, they were cool about it anyway. I mean, he was a nice dude overall. So we knocked that out and then still continued to run their board over, so we win game 1 there. Game 2, they mostly just dead drew the entire game, and even though they tried to stall behind Cornerstone, it didn't really make that much of a difference anyway. And we completely ran them over on that one. They tried to stall with the Cornerstone entirely, but I just kept, I'm not even kidding, I had 3 bosses orders in hand, and I just went around it 3 times to help me win that game there. Win the series 2-0 and punch my ticket in for day 2. Which, fun fact, this was my first day 2 in, it was kind of embarrassing, 12 years since my last day 2. I've been playing for a long time. My last one was literally in 2013. Don't judge me, though. I promise I'm not completely washed. But anyway, we're now going on to day 2 with a 6-1-2 record. And round 10, we get paired against Gholdengo Dragapult, which, fun fact, is going to be the only Dragapult variant that I see for the entire tournament, which is kind of insane, actually. Game 1 and Game 2, well, mostly Game 1, just my prize exchange was in a better position than theirs, so we had that right there. Game 2, they were pretty much in the driver's seat for their prize exchange. I did try to Iono them to help me try to win the game, but unfortunately Iono did lie there, which, you know, it happens. And then we didn't finish Game 3, so unfortunately we tied, taking me out of the asymmetrical contention, unfortunately, but I was still in a position to win money, though. But, oh well. It happens there. Round 11, we get paired against Archaludon Zoroark. Game 1 wasn't really much of a game. I did my turn, and then going into their turn, all they did was just draw, and then just scoop to Game 2. And games 2 and 3, they were both close, but unfortunately for those games, I literally kept whiffing important cards needed to help me close out the game. I was in a position to win, but unfortunately I wasn't, you know, getting what I needed on that one, so unfortunately we did lose that one. Going into round 12, I get paired against Enzorark, the one that plays, the Darmanitan, the Reshiram, all that stuff. Game 1, Itchy Pollen helped them through pretty much the majority of the game right there. Helped them set up their board, and, with no energies or anything like that, for most of the game, I couldn't really get going immediately, unfortunately. And Itchy Pollen carried them there. Game 2 ended up taking a lot of time, which just could barely blink and it was still going, which is kind of insane. But I still managed to win that one. Thankfully, I still managed to map my prizes out correctly. Darmanitan, low-key, is pretty scary for me because of their first attack, which I put energies in the discard pile, and their attack is based on energies in my discard pile. So that's not good for Dengo, but, I still won there. Game 3, we didn't really get much progress on it, and unfortunately I did end in a tie on that one. So going into our 13th and final round of the weekend, I get paired against Poison Archaludon, which I did find out that isn't really the best matchup for me. I don't think it's, it could be like an okay matchup depending on what happens, but the fact that they're able to one-shot Gholdengo is a bit annoying, so I did sort of have to be careful there, but it didn't really happen well for me, and I ended up getting 2-0'd in that one. Again, they just had the better setup overall, both of those games, and at least like one of those games I did prize my eSearch Pro, so that definitely did hurt me there, which kind of stunk to lose the last one, but it was okay. I still made day 2. I still placed in the top 256 with a 6-3-4 record. But yeah, that is pretty much the entirety of that. That's how my weekend went right there. Overall, I was really satisfied with my deck choice, and not only the deck choice, but, the cards in the deck. I was satisfied with my 60 there, and I would definitely run it back if at all possible, which I know there's a regionals this coming weekend in Monterey. If I was going to Monterey, I would probably run this deck again. I like it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yes, that's going to do it for my tournament report. I'm very curious to hear what you all think about my list, or if you have any questions or anything, leave a comment down below. If you want some more of my content, you can find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/SunnyTCG, and I'm sure they'll be leaving the links down below for that. But yep, that's going to do it for me. I appreciate you all for watching my my deck analysis and tournament report, but more or less a tournament report, I should say, more than a deck analysis, you know what I mean. But yes, thank you all again for watching, and always remember to strike first.